Hi everyone, it's Jess, aka Carrying Bumblebee, and I'm back today with another video for you. Today it's mine and everyone else's favourite video of the month, my June 2024 completed pages video. I got a few pages done, not as many as last month. Last month was May was a very good colouring month for me. But I still got quite a few pages done. I'll start by showing you my June stats page. So I coloured 25 total pages. 10 of those were colour by number pages, and the reason I coloured so many colour by number pages this month is that my mental health wasn't the greatest this month, and especially during the middle of it, I tend to colour more colour by number pages when my mental health is feeling low, as it allows me to relax, and it actually helps me with my mental health to do the colour by number pages rather than colouring pages. But that means I did 15 regular pages, which is still a nice amount. I didn't do any double pages this last month, but I completed 3 whips. Out of those 25 pages, 13 of them were buddy colours, and considering that's 15 non-colour by number pages, that means the majority of my pages were buddy colours, which I always love to do. I coloured in 19 different books. I purchased 10 books this month, which means that I now have 138 total books in my collection. This month I managed to colour in 3 previously untouched books, and so the remaining untouched books I have is 41, or 29.7%. That percentage has come up a little bit from last month, just because I purchased so many books this month and didn't get as many untouched books coloured, but that's okay. I'm still happy with that sort of percentage. I want to keep it under 30% preferably. This means that my total pages coloured in 2024 is 148, and I started 8 whips this month, and you will see that I've already completed 2 of them. I will be showing those in this video because they are 2 of my project books. I was working the last few days of the month, so I didn't get as much time to complete those last few pages as I usually do. Usually in the last couple of days I tend to finish 4, 5, 6 pages, but it was only 1 this time because I was working the last weekend. So I'll leave that aside and start with the first page I finished in June, which was In a Million Magical Creatures by Lulu Mayo. This was a buddy colour with the lovely Yolanda from Colouring by Mama. Thank you for colouring this page with me. And we coloured this mushroom house. So I decided to pick a colour palette for this page. I knew I wanted to do pinks, blues and purples. So I picked this one, palette 206. I thought it was very fitting, and I just absolutely adore how this page turned out. I used polychromos to colour the main image, and I knew I wanted to do a dark background. I considered doing like a very dark blue or a very dark purple, but I thought the colours would really pop against a black background. I was really nervous to colour this black because it wasn't originally a black background. I used this Apple Barrel matte black paint that I got from Amazon, and it went down beautifully. There were like 0 streaks, which I was really nervous about getting streaks in the page. And then over the top I just added some glitter gel pen details to some of the stars and the sort of hanging fairy lights, and some white gel pen detail over the top. I'll move mine to the side and show you Yolanda's page here. I absolutely love how hers turned out, completely different to mine, and a really unique colour scheme, which I absolutely love to see. So that was the first page I did, In a Million Magical Creatures. Next I've got tarot colouring. Let me zoom you out a little bit. There we go. And this was a buddy colour with the lovely Candice, aka Happy Catastrophe, here on YouTube and Instagram. And this has been a buddy colour for several months now. I'm not sure what it was, but both of us started this, I believe it was April or May. It was quite a while ago. We both started it, and just lost interest in the page. And we both abandoned it. Then I saw her June plans video and she said that she wanted to come back to this, and that inspired me to get mine back out and just go ahead and finish it. So we did the sun page. She still hasn't quite finished it, but that's absolutely okay, Candice. Don't feel like you need to rush. I'm completely patient with you, but I thought I'd like to share it in this video. I did this with, I based the whole image with Tombow gel brush pens, and I think a couple of my Ohuhu gel brush pens as well. And then I went over the top and shaded with Prismacolors and added some of the Gansai Tambi Kuretake Starry Colors metallic watercolour, which gives this beautiful shine that's really hard to capture in a photo and always seems to look a lot streakier than it actually is. And I also added the Spectrum Noir clear glitter pen on the wings to add another bit of sparkly shimmer. And I'm really happy with how this turned out in the end. I'm glad to have finally finished this. Thank you to Candice for inspiring me to pick this up again. Hopefully you'll get to see her soon. And yeah, that was Tarot Colouring. This is by Alexis E. Thompson. Another book that I had a whip in and I took quite a few months to finish was A Buddy Colour with the lovely Sandra Colourful Diary here on YouTube. She was super patient with me for this page. I based it a couple of months ago when we first started this buddy colour, and I just didn't like where it was going. I thought I used too bright of a marker and I wasn't a fan. But she encouraged me to get this back out again, and I'm glad I did because I actually really like the finished page. I based this, as I said, with alcohol markers. So I used the Touch Art alcohol marker brand. And then I did some very, very simple pencil shading. I just picked one darker pencil for each of the different colours. I used Prismacolors for this and just added the pencil shading over the top to create a bit of depth. And now looking at it, I actually really quite like the bright, bold colours. When I first did it, it looked like very bright. Definitely needs some shading to help it out. But I think it would be nice for this whole book to add bright, bold colours, do it similarly. The only other one I'd done before was this one. So a similar colouring style there. I will move mine across and show you Colourful Diaries here. I absolutely love the colour she used. The sunsetty background, the peach colour, absolutely beautiful, and a very, very different vibe from mine, which is always fun with buddy colours. So that was another page done in this book, Nice Little Town 6 by Tatiana Bergama-Stileva. Then I've got Colour by Number Animals. This is a book by Jade Summer, and I have decided with this one that I am just going to go through in order. So I picked a colour palette. They give you the colours on the back of the book of what to use, and you can match it with the marker sets you have at home. So I'd already done that and coloured my first page, and then I thought I would do another one. So I did this otter, and oh my gosh, he is so cute. I absolutely love how he turned out. I was a little bit worried with all the browns. The Touch Art markers don't necessarily have the nicest browns in there, but I really liked how it turned out. And the next page I've got to do is the hummingbird. So this is a nice, easy sort of palette cleanser in between some more complicated pages, although this took longer than I thought it would, because there's lots of different colours actually in this page, more than you think. So it took a little bit longer to do than I expected, but it was a lovely, relaxing page, and I'm glad to have another one done. Can't wait to see this slowly fill up with colour. That's Colour by Number Animals by Jade Summer. Then I have this book, Around the World by RJHampson. I am doing this as a project book with the lovely Catherine from Cath Colours Pages over on Instagram, and we are colouring this in order. I believe she's already done these intro pages, but I haven't quite got to them yet. I will make sure to do that though. So we are colouring front to back, first page being Mr. Fogarty's Clock. And this is another page that I had started a while ago, and I had sat as a whip for a while. You can see from the back side of the image, I based this with alcohol markers, and you can see the colour I used for the clock was very yellowy. It didn't look great when I first coloured it, but I knew once I found a colour combination for the gold, it would all come together. And I absolutely loved this sort of antique gold colour that I used. I used Prismacolors on top for this, and a little bit of gold metallic pen, not paint, pen, blah, blah. Sorry, gold metallic paint on the clock, and a bit of gold Signo gel pen for the numbers, just so I could get finer detail there and still have some sparkle and shine. And I like the different coloured gold effect it has given. I think my favourite part of this was the little grasshoppers. That little pop of green was a really fun touch. And the next page we are doing will be the Reform Club, and we are both definitely looking forward to colouring some characters. I'll move mine across and show you Catherine's beautiful page here. We did very similar ideas of the sort of blue and gold together. She incorporated more of the blue throughout hers, whereas I went more solid gold. I really like how hers turned out and can't wait to do the next one with you. So that was Around the World by RJHampson. Then I did a page for my Lulu Mayo scavenger hunt challenge over on Instagram and YouTube. I started this for the first time in June. Each month I'm going to pick 4 prompts for you to find and colour in any of Lulu Mayo's books to hopefully get us colouring more in these books, because there are so many of them and I don't feel like I often get to them as quickly as I should. And I decided for the prompt Mermaid that I would colour the opposite page to this. I coloured the mermaid on the swing last month, and so I coloured the mermaid wreath next to it in the same colours. I love how bright and vibrant this is. I based this with Tombow Jewel brush pens, went over the top with Prismacolor Premier pencils, and I added a bit of glitter gel pen touches to the hair, to the mermaid tail, to the flowers, just to match nicely with the other page. And it looks so lovely next to each other. I'm glad I used the same colour palette. I always love when you have 2 matching pages. And that's one more page done in a Lulu Mayo book. In this book specifically, because I'd only done 1 before from last Mermaid. So that gave me another excuse to touch this book. Hopefully I'll get something done, another page done before the end of summer, as I will be unlikely to want to reach for this during the autumn-winter time. So that was A Million Mermaids by Lulu Mayo. I've got another project book next. This one is Matchstick Mouse, a big adventure colouring book. And I am doing this with Nikki, Knick Knack Colours over on Instagram. And Geordie from Geordie Colours has just asked to join us as well. And of course we said yes, we'd love to have you. But the page that Nikki and I did last month for June was the Colosseum page. This also went for Disney Meg's Colouring ABC Challenge for the letter C, Colosseum. And I had a lot of fun with this page. I based it with alcohol markers. I used a combination of the Ohuhus and the Touch Art alcohol markers. I went over the top and pencil shaded with the Prismacolor Premier pencils. That is my pencil set for this book. I like to have my Matchstick Mouse books with 1 pencil set that I use throughout the book to keep it sort of a cohesive look. And I changed how Matchstick Mouse is coloured for each of them, and I use a different pencil combination for each book. So this one I've got Prismas, and I have that noted down in the back so I know what to do. In fact, I forgot to do the little hash mark to show that I completed 2 pages now in this book. So I will move mine aside and show you Nikki's here. I love how hers turned out. We both went quite similar colours actually. But yeah, I wanted to keep mine really simple with the blues and the greens. It really popped against the neutral colours in my opinion. And the next one we are doing is the Sea Turtle page. So can't wait to see Nikki's and Geordie's colouring of this as well. That was Matchstick Mouse, A Big Adventure by Morgan O'Brien. Then I've got Mythographic Wild Summer. This was a previously untouched book for me by Joseph Kbang. and this has got to be one of my favourite Mythographic books of all time. I did this gorgeous page as a buddy colour with the lovely Jana of Colour and Create with Jana over on Instagram. We did the panda eating watermelon page, and I just had an absolute blast with it. I based the whole image with a combination of Ohuhu and Touch Art alcohol markers, and I went over the top and pencil shaded with Prismacolors? No, Polychromos. I use Polychromos for this. I just absolutely love it. Looking at it makes me feel super summery and just makes me smile to see it. I will move mine across and show you Jana's here. We did quite similar colour palettes, but when I thought about it, there's not really much variation you could do, unless you went for totally alien colours, which would be awesome. But with the blue water, the green and the reddy pink for the watermelon, the black and white panda, the bamboo, it's all very similar colours, but the only main difference was our backgrounds. I went for a bright yellow and she went for more of a sunsetty yellow and orange look, which I absolutely loved. So thank you very much to Jana for colouring this page with me, and that is another book of my collection that I have coloured in. That was Mythographic Wild Summer by Joseph Kbang. Then I've got Kawaii Tarot Colouring Book by Lulu Mayo. I actually coloured 3 pages in this month, which is quite unusual for me. Usually I will colour one from a book and then I'll move on. The first one I did was this one, the Knight of Wands page. And as soon as I saw it, I knew I wanted bright yellows, bright blues, green, and a little pop of pink. And it turned out exactly like I wanted. I used Black Widows to colour the whole image of this. And I used the Gansai Tambi metallic gold watercolour for the border. I like using the metallic watercolour for the borders of all of my pages in this book so far, just to keep them cohesive. And this was a buddy colour, sorry I forgot to say, with Paula, aka Colouring Mum, over on Instagram. Thank you, Paula, for colouring this with me. I will move mine across and show you her beautiful page here. We both had a lot of fun colouring this, and hers turned out absolutely gorgeous. This also went for my Lulu Mayo scavenger hunt prompt for Cactus, and it would go for this month's prompt of Sun. So if you want to colour this page for July, this goes for one of my prompts, Sun. The next page I coloured in here was the Queen of Swords. We went for a small one. This was a buddy colour with Jenna from the Fiction Kitten over on Instagram. Once again, I used Black Widow pencils for this and one Polychromo pencil. I believe it was this sort of deep purple in the background. Sort of like purpley blue in the background I used a colour palette for this. Where did it go? Bear with me 1 second. So that took me quite a while. I basically had to search my entire room for these 2 colour palettes. I was getting worried I'd lost them for a minute, but they were in my drawer. I used the combination of these 2 colour palettes here, 196 and 193. I knew I wanted some greens in it and purples as well. So I combined them like this. So we had the dark purpley blues there, the sort of chartreusey greens, and the pinky purples as well. And I combined them to make this lovely colour palette here. Yeah, really enjoyed colouring this one. Big thank you to my buddy for this page, Jenna, the Fiction Kitten. I will move mine across and show you hers here. Really love how hers turned out as well. And we do have another page planned for later this month. So that was the second page I coloured in Kawaii Tarot. And the final page I did was one of my major arcana cards, and it was the Emperor. I finally got him finished off. For a while I wasn't a big fan of this page. I'd based it in Tombow Dual brush pens, but as I say to myself and as I say to other people who are colouring, just push through. Sometimes the basing doesn't look the way you want it to, but keep going, shade with pencils over the top and you will like it, and that was the case here. I used Tombows to base the chair, the dogs, and the sun rays. And then I went over the top with some Arteza Expert pencils, so I quite enjoy them in this book. And I used that I just shaded with pencils for the mountains here. I kept it very simple with just several different tones of green, and added the Gansai Tambe metallic watercolour over the top. I had originally coloured the sort of outline of the chair gold, like the little stick thing here, but I really didn't like how it turned out. It was the blend wasn't great, and this paper can't take very many layers, so I couldn't go back and improve it. So I just went over the top with the gold metallic watercolour, and much prefer how that turned out. And yeah, it's finally another page done for the Major Arcana. Hopefully I will get to the Hierophant for this month. That was the 3 pages I coloured in Kawaii Tarot, one of my favourite books at the moment, so thank you to my 2 buddies for helping me get some more done in that one. Next I coloured in Nuno Therapy. I will zoom you in a little bit so you can see a bit better. This was a buddy colour with Stephanie, Cobalt Pearl Colours, and we did the watermelon pool float page, and this was a lot of fun to colour. As soon as I saw it, I knew I wanted to do a bright yellow for the pool float and some bright colours for the watermelon, and then the rest of the image was pretty simple. I initially wanted the blue of the water to be a bit paler. I wanted it to sort of fade out to some lighter blues, but I accidentally pressed too hard on the pencil, so I had to commit to this sort of darker look, but it blended out very nicely. I used polychromos for this page, and I will move mine across to show you Stephanie's here. I absolutely loved the combination of greens that she used for the pool float. She used Prismacolors for her page, and I really struggled with the greens and the Prismacolors. I really loved the muted greens, but the sort of brighter greens, I struggle to find combinations I like, so I love what she did with hers. So thank you, Stephanie, for colouring this with me. This was a previously untouched book that is finally coloured in my collection now, Nuno Therapy. Next up, I've got Magical Earth. This was a buddy colour with Julianne from Julianne Annette Art over on Instagram. And she saw my plans video and saw that I had a whip in this book and offered to colour it with me. And it was this hanging plants page. Before the month, I had based the terracotta pots and the ladybugs with some alcohol markers. I used the Ohuhus. And then I just added some more alcohol markers for the flowers. I looked up a colour palette on the Colouring Heaven website actually. I will add it here, the colour palette inspiration that I used. And you can see that I used the background of that image as inspiration for my background, and I decided to challenge myself a bit, do something I wouldn't usually do, this sort of yellow into blue faded look. And I really love the sort of natural tones of this page. I'll move mine across and show you Julianne's here. I really love the vibrancy and the colours she used, and the blue in the background was the perfect finishing touch for her page. Really enjoyed colouring that one, and is another page finished in this book, one of my favourite mythographics. Mythographic Magical Earth by Joseph Kbang. Then I finally coloured another page in the Wild Mouse Yururi's Journey sketchbook. This is one of my all-time favourite colouring books, and I hadn't actually coloured it since last year, which was such a shame. So I've lost my train of thought. So Christine from Sant Colours, we do a project book together. She saw my plans video and asked if I'd like to do the Bumblebee page with her, and I said absolutely. Thought it shouldn't take too long, and it didn't. I coloured the leaves, the bee and the dish all in one evening. It took me about an hour or so. Then I left it a few days because I wasn't sure what I wanted to do for the purple flowers yet. And then once I decided on the colour combo for the purple flowers, it only took me another couple of hours to finish the page off altogether. So I based the background on the spring one I did previously. I wanted to keep them sort of cohesive, and I'll do the same for the autumn and winter ones. So I used a soft pastel in the background and some of the Uniball gold metallic gel pen for the outlining and some little dots in the background. I used polychromos for the whole page, and I'll move mine across and show you Christine's here. She did an absolutely beautiful job. Thank you for colouring with me, and I'm so glad to have another page in this book done. Maybe I'll get round to doing another one this year in the summer section. These are the last two that I did, so the last page I coloured was in August of last year. I just love this book, so many cute images. But yeah, maybe I'll do this page, maybe even soon, with the same colours that I used here. Shouldn't take too long either. But yeah, that was a lovely page in the Wild Mouse Yuriri Journey Sketchbook by Makiko Inotome. Next, I've got one of my project books. This is World Fairy Tales by Eerie, and I colour a page in this each month with Megan from Disney Meg's Colouring. And the page we did was Cinderella in her ball gown, perfect for Megan's colour ABC challenge for the letter C. I used a combination of Arteza Expert pencils and Brute Funa macarons. I tried my best to match it with the opposite page, and I think I did quite a good job. The way I managed to match them was I coloured on the side of a piece of paper. Let me see if I have it here. Yeah, it's a bit scraggly now because it got folded up, but I would colour with one of the Brute Funa square pencils here on the side of the paper and match it up next to it. So if that's a tip for you, if you've ever coloured a page and you want to use the same colours but you can't remember quite what colours you used, do a little swatch on the side of a page and go up next to the object to match it, and you get pretty good matching result. So that helped me for that. I then finished the page off with some Antec metallic watercolours to match the opposite side, and I just had to add some silvery metallic. Doesn't match with the other side, but it had to be a little bit special because she's in her ball gown. This was a really fun page. I'll move mine across and show you Megan's beautiful page here. She went for a very blue colour scheme, also to match the opposite page. And yeah, can't wait to do the next one. It is going to be the picnic one. This is from the Gigantic Turnip fairy tale story. That's another one done in our project book, Wild Fairy Tales by Eerie. Then I did a page in A Million Llamas. This was a buddy colour with Steph Louise Argyle, and she is such a lovely lady. We did have a different page planned, but I asked if we could switch it so it would fit for my Lulu Mayo scavenger prompt. I hadn't coloured anything for Strawberry yet, and we picked this Sunday Glass page. I used this colour palette, 38. I knew I wanted to include some pinky red tones and browns, and this just fit perfectly. I used the Staedtler Design Journey pencils for this page, and I absolutely love them in this book. They start off and they look quite sort of, you can see the pencil strokes in them, but if you do a few layers then they build up really, really nicely and give you a really nice smooth blend. I was worried about doing the background, but I just decided to start it and go for it, and it actually smoothed out really nicely, and I was super happy with that. Did a bit of white pen detailing for the glass to make it look see-through. But yeah, that was a super fun page. The first one I've done in here that's not the title page where I was just testing out different supplies. I'll move mine across and show you Steph's here. She used some beautiful bright colours, and we have another page that we were going to previously colour lined up for July for my scavenger hunt prompts, and I can't wait to do that one with her as well. That was A Million Llamas by Lulu Mayo. Then these next two books I actually finished on the 2nd of July, so I am cheating a little bit by including them in my June completed pages, but I wanted to show them off because they are two project books. This first one, Petit Pupe, this is illustrated by Capucine Sauvignon and is by Art Therapy Hatchet Heroes. This is a project book with the lovely Christine, aka Sank Colours, over on Instagram. And we did the Aurora page. I absolutely loved this. I based mine with some Ohuhu water-based brush pens and alcohol markers I used for the trees and the background. I then went over the top with the Prismacolor Premier pencils, which I have done for the rest of the pages so far in this book. I will move mine across and show you Christine's beautiful one here. And we actually had another friend join us this month. We had, I believe, it was Wendy from Jazzy Doodle Designs. She joined us and I will show you hers here. They both used some alternative colours for the trees. I went very traditional and green with mine, but they used some bright, bold colours, which I absolutely loved. So thank you to both of you for colouring this with me. I have picked the next page in this book for July, and we are doing the Lilo and Scrump page. A nice summary one. Should be quite a quick and easy page to finish, as it's mostly just leaves. Once you find a colour combo for that, it shouldn't take too long. That is Petit Pupe. And the final colouring page that I finished was in the Rabbit's Fairy Tale Fantasy picture book, and this is a project book with Zoe from Addicted to Colouring over on Instagram and YouTube, and we did this Flower Dress Tailor page. Oh my gosh, I absolutely adore this. Looking at it now makes me so happy. I'm so proud of colouring it. I think this has to be my favourite page of the month. Even though I didn't actually finish it in June, I finished it in July. But this is my favourite page that I coloured in June, because I did do the majority of it in June. I used Polychromos pencils for this page. Well, I should say a majority of Polychromos pencils. I did use one Artise Expert pencil and one Black Widow pencil, just to fill in some of the gaps that I had for colours that were missing from the Polychromo set. This was really a labour of love. It took a long time to colour. I started off with the tree, and I knew there was a lot of tree, but you don't realise how much there is until you start colouring it. And it looked very bland and boring, it all being brown, so I added the colour for the leaves and that made it look better. And then it got to colouring all the different little objects, and sometimes I struggle deciding what colours to do. Originally I wanted to have these like rainbow fairies, a pink, an orange, a yellow, a blue and a purple one, or a green one. I wanted to do them rainbow colours, but I was doing it one night and I just suddenly decided I wanted to do a pink to yellow sky gradient. So I just did that, and it looked quite sunsetty, and I thought, you know what, this can be like a sunset fairy tree house. These are the sunset fairies. They each have a different colour to match with the sunset in the sky. And we've got our little bunny friend being dressed up by one of the flower fairies. And yeah, I just absolutely love it. Zoe, I don't think quite finished her page, but as soon as she does, I will be posting both of them on Instagram. This was a lovely page to colour, and I'm so glad to have it finished. The next one we are doing is the picnic hamper page, which was perfect for summer. So that is Rabbit's Fairy Tale Fantasy picture book by Kotoli. Then the last few books I have will be nice and quick to show you, as they are my colour by number books, Disney ones. First is a new one, previously untouched. This is Disney Colorage Mystère Portraits. This was actually released in June, and I really like the look of it. It has some very sort of flat, bold colours, quite sort of like pop arty style almost, that I was really drawn to. And the best thing is that they're single-sided, so you can use alcohol markers. So that is exactly what I did for this page. I used my Ohuhu alcohol markers and I think a couple of Touch Art alcohol markers for this page of Abu. I slightly messed up his face. I should have just picked out some Tombow dual brush pens that I know I have in the lighter browns, but I wanted to keep it to the alcohol markers to reduce the streakiness. But I thought, no, it'll look fine in the end, and no, it's not my favourite, but ignoring the face, I really had fun colouring it. I did the background whilst watching TV, and it was a really nice change to do these colour by number books with my alcohol markers. So I'm definitely looking forward to doing more in here. That is the portraits. This is the square version of the Colorage Mystère. Then I have the larger format ones, and I haven't tagged these, so I will be flipping through to find the ones I did. Here we go, here's the first one. Isabella. This was a lot of fun to colour. I loved all the purples and pinks in her dress. I used, I always outlined the image with a paint pen, a black paint pen, which makes it easier to then colour over the top, and I use a variety of different markers. I have the Ohuhu dual brush pens, the Tombow dual brush pens, a few Crayola Super Tips, and some Faber-Castell felt tip pens. So I use a combination of those for colouring all of these. And then I did Minnie Mouse. Really loved this one. There's a few of these sort of underwater Mickey and Friends pictures. I think the next couple are underwater themed as well. And I just thought this is a perfect one for summer. I matched the blues to the Donald page. I think I should have used a lighter blue for the background because that's meant to be the sky. But I just used the same light blue that I used on this one to keep them cohesive. But that's okay. So I did that Minnie Mouse. And the last one I did, I think it's near the front, is this Snow White page. And I just like the bright summery colours on this one. Another fun one to add to my Disney Nature Colour by Numbers book. Then I did a couple in the Disney Vitro. Once again, I didn't tag these. Usually I tag them, but I didn't this month. Here we go. I did Captain Hook. I often like to use a random number generator to pick my colour by number pages because I just like them all and I would like to colour them all one day. And this was one that was a random number generated page. So that was actually quite fun to do. Some different colours than what I usually do for these pages. And actually I think it's right near the front. Yes, I did this Rapunzel page. And this, I remember, was a day I wasn't feeling my best. And I just wanted to pick a page that was one of my favourites from this book, which was this. Lots of pinks and purples. Yeah, really loved doing that one in Vitro. I did one in Princesses, and this one I have just been working through front to back. And I don't like how this one turned out. It's her skin. The pen was running out and I was so sad, so I thought I might be able to find a replacement, different colour. So I tried that on her neck and it was just completely wrong. Hated how I did it on the neck, so I just pushed through and carried on colouring. Ignore the face. The rest of the image is really nice and I like how it turned out. But you know what we can always do? Turn the page and go to the next one, which is what I will be doing, and that's okay. There are several pages in this book which aren't my favourite, like the skin tone of these are quite odd. Yeah, not every page is going to be a masterpiece, and that's okay. You can always turn the page and do the next one. So that was another one done in Princesses. And the final one, it was another untouched book for me, Les Grands Classiques, tome 11. And oh my gosh, I love this book. It's my new favourite colour by number Disney book. And I did this Rafiki page, which was another one of those random number generator pages that I picked out. This was a lot of fun. I like ones which have a lot of outlining to do. It's my favourite part of doing the images. And I did this Mickey, Sorcerer Mickey page. My mum picked this one out, so I did that one for her. Yeah, another one I absolutely love, and I am working on a double page spread in here, which I can't wait to finish. So that was everything for my completed pages for June 2024. Let me know in the comments below which was your favourite or favourite images, and I look forward to seeing you in the next one. Bye everyone.